We dismiss history at our peril.
Liberty Nation Radio with Mark Angelides.
And we're back with LibertyNation.com, senior political analyst and longtime host of this here radio show, Mr. Tim Donner. Now, earlier in the show, we were discussing how Joe Biden's positioning himself as a wartime president and how this can either help or hinder him. If you didn't catch our answer on that, go back and watch that segment or listen to that segment. Please do. But this time, Tim, I'd really love to talk about what's happening with the 2024 election, how the votes are going to be kind of split up between whoever the eventual Republican nominee is, most likely Donald Trump, whoever the Democrat nominee is, most likely Joe Biden. But there's also some other facets that we need to consider, some other players on the chessboard, aren't there, Tim?
Well, yes, and they're not ones that are terribly welcome in the Joe Biden camp, I can tell you that much. Essentially, you've got Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who has decided to run as an independent as opposed to running, say, as a libertarian where he would have easier ballot access. So Kennedy faces, and I'm sort of getting a little ahead of myself here, but Robert F. Kennedy Jr. faces a Herculean task in getting on the ballot as an independent candidate. You usually have to have tens of thousands of signatures from registered voters in order to even get on the ballot. But assuming that he does, you could make a case that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. could take some votes from Trump as well as Biden. But even if you sort of stipulate that it'd be 50% he takes from each, Biden's got other problems. And one of them is Cornel West, who is now also running as an independent. He was originally going to be the Green Party designate, but he's decided to run as an independent now. Again, he has ballot access problems, but Cornel West is far left. Roughly 100% of his votes will come at the expense of Joe Biden.
Yeah, Cornel West, for those who don't know, Professor West, he's Bernie Sanders, but smarter. Yeah, I think is the nice way to say it.
And a little more of a revolutionary, I suppose, because he has never worked within the system, which Bernie Sanders has done. But West stands to drain votes directly from Biden. There's nobody who's thinking about Donald Trump who goes, Donald Trump or Cornel West, Donald Trump or no, there are no voters like that. But the real X factor in this is the No Labels Party, and we're not going to find out till early to mid 2024 whether they're going to field a candidate or not. But I can tell you this much, that they are all in on ballot access. They are already on the ballot in double-digit number of states. There was about 15 at last count, and their likely nominee would be Joe Manchin, who, of course, is the yin to Biden's yang in the Democratic Party. It was Manchin who stalled the far-left progressive agenda. So he might get some votes from Trump as well, but I would think he would, again, as a leading Democrat, shall we say, outspoken critic of the Biden agenda, I suspect he will get primarily votes from unhappy Democrats who don't like the progressive far-left radical direction of their party. So there's going to be vote splits happening. The question is who benefits from it. You could argue Trump if it was just Robert F. Kennedy Jr., but with the three of them in, and 75% of the U.S. public essentially saying that Joe Biden is too old to serve another term as president, it's hard to pick a scenario in which Joe Biden benefits from a split field like this.
I should just mention that we've actually even missed somebody else on that. We've got, two people, which we will come to that in just a moment. So you've got Robert F. Kennedy, independent. Ballot access might be a problem, although I suspect that he's going to focus primarily on what we might call swing states.
Swing states,
really,
yeah.
Because why not? There's more people ready for him there.
I don't think he's going to be out there trying to get signatures in Alabama or Mississippi.
Not going to happen. Yeah.
Right.
So we've got RFK, we've got Cornel West. Again, could have some ballot access issues. Then you've got, as you point out rightly, you've got no labels, which is essentially that's just waiting for, I guess you could call it a plug and play candidate. They've got the ballot access already, plug and play candidate ready to go. So you've got that as well. And then Cornel West, which we've just mentioned, he left the Green Party designee to run independent, which means the Green Party's still in play as well, with whomever they choose. So that's 4 so far that could be upsetting the electoral apple cart. And we've just had, we're recording this on Wednesday, the 25th of October. We're expecting Representative Dean Phillips to announce on Friday, the 27th, that he's a Democrat representative, and we're expecting him to announce his presidential challenge, aren't we? Now, how does that affect things?
Well, talk about an embarrassment for the Joe Biden campaign.
Oh, yeah.
He thought he would have an issue-free decision to move the first primary to South Carolina instead of New Hampshire, which has held the first primary for like 1,000 years. Okay. 246 or something. But the point is, the people in New Hampshire were not pleased because their own state charter says they have to hold the first primary at least a week before any other similar contest. Now, the caucuses in Iowa always go the week before.
Yeah.
But Dean Phillips, there's a couple of problems here. First of all, Dean, just the fact that Dean Phillips is seriously considering a challenge as a sitting congressman, a sitting Democratic congressman. We're not talking about Marianne Williamson or some kind of gadfly here. And we're not talking about, someone who's just appeared on the scene suddenly like Robert F. Kennedy Jr. But the biggest problem is that by entering the race, Dean Phillips likely gets himself a victory in the New Hampshire primary because Joe Biden did not put his name on the ballot in order to be faithful to South Carolina being the first primary. And I think Biden just thought, well, New Hampshire will just fall in line because I'm the president and I've decided the first primary is going to be in South Carolina. Well, not so fast, Mr. President. The New Hampshire Democratic Party, let's just say they were not pleased, and they're going ahead with their primary as planned, whether the sitting president is on the ballot or not. But imagine, Mark, the headlines the day after the New Hampshire primary when you have Trump probably win and Dean Phillips as the victor in the New Hampshire. What an embarrassing spectacle that would be for the White House.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the idea behind it would be to try and parlay those delegates into another victory further down the line, then play it on a situational basis. Because I think
he would be what you call the Democrats' ABB candidate. Anybody but Biden.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he's not going to get to debate Biden or anything, but just his presence is a real embarrassment, I think, for the Biden administration.
Tim Donner, thanks ever so much for joining us today.
I had fun. Thanks, Mark.
We dismiss history at our peril.
Liberty Nation Radio with Mark Angelides.
Don't get caught up in the media madness. Join our movement for free thinking and free speech at libertynation.com. Publishing news and analysis 24/7 with original articles by our team of authors who tell it like it is. Join us each week for online TV shows, The Uprising Podcast, and Liberty Nation Radio. We believe in free thinking and free speech. We are LibertyNation.com.